Okay, this is a tutorial on how to enter in an application into eSnaps for Larkin Street. So I was able to find out what was wrong. There were some issues with the profile, as you knew, but we were able to fix that and get you all set up. So I'm going to walk you through how to enter in an application. Like I said, I'll send you a guide. Please let me know if you have any questions. So I'll send you your username and password. I put it in over here on the left, and I'm going to log in. Accept. And once I log in, to enter in your application, you just go to Submissions. And I already filtered for it. So for instance, to find it, it's really easy. If it says all projects, because it's possible that you'll go into eSnaps and it'll just be a cluster of 100 projects that will look a lot like this. These are all the projects under HSH, or some are outdated, but to find yours, you can just click here and go down to Larkin Street. Larkin Street Yak Collaborative. Filter by that. And then here it is. To open it, click on the orange folder. And now you're ready to go. So as you probably recall, your entire application is here in the left column. And you can click around to each section depending on where you want to work. As you work though, I suggest that before you leave each page, you save your work. I already did the work in part 1, so you don't have to do any of that. You can just jump to part 2 and 2A subrecipients. So this is where you start entering in your information. And on 2A, where it says total expected subaward, this doesn't populate manually. To enter in this information in this field, you have to go over here to this add new item to the list. You click on that, put in the organization name, your physical address, your congressional districts, which is California 12 and 14. You probably already know that. I can do that for you right now. And the expected subaward, which I believe, since I still have your budget up, is $410,000. Now I'll let you fill the rest out since you know the address and contact information. And what I do at the end is I save and then I go back to the list. Now you can see, oh, I did that wrong. It's not 481, it's 410. But anyways, you see how it works, and I'll delete this here to clear it so you can go back and fill it in correctly. Next is experience of applicant, subrecipients, and other partners. This is where you can begin literally cutting and pasting portions of your project application that you submitted to HSH into your eSnaps application. It's essentially requesting your experience utilizing federal funds and the experience you have managing fiscal grants and basic concepts around your organization structure. And this is project detail, where you can put in your COC number, project applicant's name. Here's the name of this project. Status is going to be standard. Component is PH. This is no. And then On 3B, this is where you enter in your project description. Another place where you can cut and paste from your application. They're asking for the estimated schedule for the proposed activities. Does your organization participate in the COC? Who is your specific population focus? Obviously, you do have to click youth under 25. Yes, this is Housing First. Does the project ensure that applicants are not screened out based on the following? Really just make sure that this is a low barrier, low threshold project. Project expansion. This is not using an existing homeless facility. And then this page is about supportive services. What kind of supportive services that you're going to be providing to the clients that are going to be enrolled in your program. Probably familiar with this. It's a list of supportive services. Wondering who is going to be providing it. Applicant is HSH. Subrecipient is Larkin. Partner is a organization that you have a formal MOU with, or a partnership essentially. It could be a letter of support or a partnership that already exists with Larkin Street that are serving youth and other programs that are also going to be by extension serving the youth as well. A non-partner is a partner that you do not have a partnership with. You do have to select one of these for each one, for each supportive services with the frequency of how often they'll be provided over here. This section is about transportation and mainstream benefits. And this section is housing type and location. So the numbers on this screen must reflect the total number of units and beds when you are at full capacity. Similar to the screen that I showed you earlier, you cannot make any edits to this to these fields unless you click over here on the far left where it says housing type and location detail. And this is where you put where the youth are going to be living and the number of units, beds, and then the street name. If you don't know the street or the location where you're going to be serving youth, HUD has requested that you put the offices of where you're going to be administering this program in these fields. It's important to be as accurate as possible. Obviously this is an estimate since you haven't, you don't know exactly how many beds are going to be in each unit, but I think you can get a really close estimate. If you're not sure, I think it's best to err on the side of being conservative because what's in this application is gonna, if awarded, is gonna be your contract with HUD of who you are proposing to serve. And then as you know, we are held to the number of units and beds that you said that you were gonna be providing. So once you fill that out, you can go to the next page. And this section is called Project Participants Households. And so what this is say you agree to serve 10, you're proposing to have 10 units. Each unit is a household. And depending on how many youth are going to be in each household, say it's 10 right here. And so you fill that out. They also want to know adult households without children and adult households with only children. The definition of children is under 18. Adults are anything over 18 years old. And so once you say you put in 10 here, you're going to have to, below this, break this down of how many people in each of these households consists of each unit, which is the household. So, it can be easy to, kind of confuse the numbers or have them not total correctly, but that's okay because there will be an error sign when you attempt to move forward. And then the number of individuals that you're planning to serve in each household are further broken down into this section, which is project participants subpopulations. The first three columns here are mutually exclusive from the other columns here. So for instance, unless they are a veteran, you're likely not going to have any individuals in any of these three columns. The number of individuals have to, well, I guess they don't have to equal if there's only one or two, but you're not going to be serving any chronically homeless, but so you'd only feel sad if you end up serving a veteran, which, again, this is an estimate based on your knowledge of the population that you've served and the individuals that are likely going to live there. It's up to you to determine whether or not any of these folks will likely be veterans. If not, then you can just leave it blank. However, there will be individuals that are living in the PSH that do have issues with substance abuse or are disabled. With these columns over here, it doesn't have to total the number of people that you're serving. So for instance, a person may have HIV, but they may also have a developmental disability. You can put in however many of these you want for the people that you serve. It could be 2 or 3 or 1 or 0. That is definitely okay. So moving on. Outreach for participants, wanting to know where folks come from off the street. Again, this is an estimate. HUD isn't likely going to check this to make sure that, oh, you said 50% were going to come from the street and 50 from shelter, but 60 are coming from shelter and 40 from the street. That's likely not going to happen, but do your best to estimate closely. This total needs to be 100%. And then below, you provide your outreach plan on how you're going to make this happen. Discharge planning. And then the funding request. So, yes, it will be under grant agreement by 2019. This is a reallocation of funds. I believe you have an indirect cost. Let me look here real quick. Oh, it's the 10%. And then here you provide the information about your indirect cost rate. I believe this is the de minimis rate. And then the grant term, the budget for this is going to be for 2 years. And you have it's for rental assistance and supportive services. So for rental assistance budget, and I am going to get to you tomorrow a revised budget that you can take a look at and enter this information in. And to do so, you go to the left here and enter in the, I believe it's project-based rental assistance, but I'll let you fill that out. And so, for instance, if you have 5 one-bedroom units, you do have to select from what FMR this is going to be. So for instance, if this is San Francisco, this automatically populates with the FMRs from 2016. All right. And then back to list. And so that populates here. I'll delete that so you can, won't confuse you. And then supportive service budget, this should mirror the budget that we agree upon. And then they'll want a quantity and description here. So for instance, for case management, you'll do 1 FTE case manager at, 75,000 and, 0.35 of an FTE for a program manager. So make sure you're descriptive in this section, and then the total of the request goes here. Everything is going to be doubled, so just FYI, it's going to look like a lot of money because they double it for each section that you enter in the budget. And then here's the sources of match. And to fill this out, you click over here on the left, and they just want basic information about your match, whether it's cash or in kind, government, date of written commitment, and the value. Once you enter that in, this will populate here. And then your summary budget. Because it's a 2-year budget, the information will go here, supportive services, operations, and HMIS, any admin that you have, and then the match. And then here for attachments. If you could attach your 501c3 status, your indirect cost rate, and then your match documentation, that would be helpful. I don't think that HSH is going to be submitting the match documentation to HUD, but it is important to submit it because HSH are required to have that documentation in their grant files when they're monitored by HUD. So it's important that they get that. Let me know if you need any assistance with that. I can send you some more details. And then once you click through to that, this is where you certify. And here's your submission summary. Over here on the left are all the boxes that should be checked. So they'll let you know what still needs to be completed. And when you are done, go ahead and export to PDF. Do not submit. We are going to take a look at it just to make sure everything looks good before we submit it. And then we'll be good to go. So if you could get this to me by the end of day Tuesday, that would be really helpful. I'm going to send this recording and a few helpful guides over to you so you can get going on it. And like I said, feel free to contact me if you have any questions at all, and I can help walk you through some of this. Okay, thank you.